I don't play light. I don't know if it's the guns, gadgets, or specializations I don't like, or just the lower health of the class. Playing light never feels right to me. The damage the class can do is great, and I'm capable of doing well, but I just don't find the class to be as enjoyable as the other two. Heavy is a solid defender who can break stuff without breaking a sweat, and medium is a good all-rounder with guns that I really enjoy using, like the 1887 and the FAMAS. I will say, light has its moments with me. Specifically the time I had to bring glitch grenades and a thermal bore to tear down a power shift defense to win a game. But apart from that, and the outfit that I use for him, there's nothing that really makes me want to play light. Until I remembered the V9S exists. The V9S, or pistol because nobody cares about the other pistol, is a gun I used a lot in late Season 1 and early Season 2, and for some reason I switched off of it. It's not like it was bad or anything, I just stopped using it. I think I switched over to the LH1, then the XP54, then M11, and now I've gone full circle back to the V9S. This weapon feels nice to land shots and has a lot of shots to shoot, which makes it a good balance of spam and damage, especially when the spread kicks in, and with iron sights you're not going to be relying on too much. I don't think they're too terrible, but compared to the revolver, you can definitely see which one is supposed to be the precision weapon. This really helps this gun be a middle ground between the M11 and the LH1 in a way. M11 has chunky iron sights, a lot of kick, and should be used in close quarters, when the LH1 has smoother recoil and slimmer iron sights and should be used at longer ranges. The V9S can be used at longer ranges, does well in close quarters, and is able to smoothly transition between the two forms of combat. As for viability, you can see why people would choose the LH1 XP54 or throwing knives over the V9S. While the damage of the V9S is nice and it's pretty easy to use, the other weapons have advantages, like a sight that makes aiming easier, especially when invisible, more damage and less damage fall off, or no reloading that can easily beat the V9S. I would say the biggest strength of the V9S is versatility. With the V9S and the dash specialization, you can get close, do some damage, then move to cover or pop out at a different angle. And, unlike the double barrel, you don't need to get too close, which opens more possibilities for this hit and run playstyle. This playstyle can also be achieved by the XP54 LH1 and throwing knives, but for the XP54 you really need to aim for the head more because of its lower damage. With LH1 you can't hip fire it as easily, meaning your range is a bit limited, and for the throwing knives you need to wait for the initial windup, especially if you plan on using the secondary attack. The V9S can easily take a few chunks out of an enemy's health bar without requiring precise aim, but can still benefit from it. Speaking of which, let's talk about aiming for a sec. Rapid fire aiming with the V9S can be tricky due to how much the gun bounces. To land consistent headshots, you can either pace your shots to readjust the sights, or aim towards the end of the slide to maybe hit some shots, but it's only really reliable in close range due to how much space it takes up, basically covering the head of your target. If you are really close, however, you should be able to hip fire and get some good shots in. Just make sure you don't jump unless you want to shoot an outline of your enemies with your bullets. There's one hidden stat the V9S has, which is style. Every weapon in the game has its own style, but the V9S's style actually affects its gameplay. A silenced pistol seems like the perfect tool for a stealth playstyle, popping out of vents like a hitman to take down a target, or chasing someone down a dark alley to finish them off. Playing like this actually works really well, especially because constantly moving with this gun is easy. The hip fire is tight, the damage is good, the rate of fire is pretty quick as long as you have a good trigger finger, and the mag size is really nice. On top of that, reloading is extremely quick, so once you take out your target, you can hide or circle around your enemies for about 1.5 seconds, then get back to fighting, making this a very fast-paced weapon. Going back to this gun was refreshing. Being able to move around quickly with a consistent weapon in my hands is really nice, especially because a lot of the other weapons tend to slow me down or require more sustained fire, which just isn't as enjoyable to me. While this gun might not be the best in slot light weapon, like the alternate reality me would title this video, I do believe it has its place as my favorite gun I don't use.